Call the meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, flags in the back. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adoption of the agenda. Recommended that the agenda of the September 9, 2019 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented. I have a motion.
Motion.
George makes that motion. Melissa, second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Approval of minutes. It is recommended that the minutes of the August 12, 2019 regular meeting of the board be approved as presented. That was on pages 4 through 7. I need a motion. Derek makes the motion. I have a second to that.
I will.
Melissa seconds the motion. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Superintendent's report.
All right, at this time, we'll have a high school renovation update, and Mr. Alex Altman will give you an update on how everything's going.
All right, so as you can see, we did get it done for school. Everything's looking good. I know quite a few. We've had a lot of people going through and have great results or great feedback on what we've done. So where we're at project-wise, we're at about that 95 to 96% completion. We still have some missing details and parts and pieces we're working out. Currently left, we got punch lists we're working on, equipment commissioning, qualification, and final acceptance for like the HVAC, the kitchen equipment. Quite a bit of punch list work remaining, as well as getting the contractors together to get all the closeout documents and operation manuals turned over. So as far as missing equipment, we've ran into a few issues with suppliers, those mainly being the exterior doors. We did get confirmation this morning that they did ship out from California last week, so we're waiting that arrival to wrap that up along with the missing exterior door hardware. So other than that, we're trying to get it wrapped up and completed. Anything else? Any questions?
If you're here, if you haven't gone through, please do so as soon as the meeting's over. I'd love to have you guys go through. Looks great. Thank you, Alex.
No problem.
And at this time, we have our high school principals, and then elementary and middle school. If you guys want to come up and kind of give us I learned results. And you guys do. I learned was a new test this year. We kind of roll with everything. I know at one point in time, or what they said was it was going to be about 60% of our students from Indiana did not pass the I learned. So we take things, we roll with it. You make lemonade out of lemons, and so we're rolling, but these are our results.
The I learned for the high school is this year very different than it was for the elementary schools. Okay, we were still, for math and English, we were still doing I-STEP. Okay, but the biology test has been around for a few years now. The biology test is not required for graduation. Only math and English are required for graduation. So the students know that whenever they take this test. So whenever you see the state average at 38%, that's a big reason why, is because a lot of the students across the state don't take it as seriously as they do the math and the English, because they know they don't have to pass that in order to do that. So the state average was at 38%. And so we were at 49%. We were 11 points above the state average. So I have to give some kudos to our kids and the biology teachers who did a nice job of working with this. So any student who takes biology, that's the test that they took, and that's all I have. The others, they have a lot more graphics and different things because they had different grade levels and different tests and things, but this was just one group of students, and we were 49%, 11 above the state average, so that's where we were.
Rockport. I want to start off with just an overview slide. So just like the I-STEP, we receive results in several different ways. iLearn reports look a lot different for us, so we're still working through what some of that data means. But this is what you see in the newspaper. This is copied straight out of one of the news feeds, and it says what our overall pass rate for both English language arts and math. So I would have to be a student who passed both English language arts and math to be a part of this graphic. And you can see that we had 50% of our students in third grade, had a dip there in third grade, or fourth grade at 36.4, fifth grade was at 51.1, and then our total for the school was 45.6% passing. This is a little more of what we see on the state site for reporting, and it gives some breakdown. I put at the top, and I wanted to show this because I think it's important to understand a little bit about what we were looking at as a school heading into this and what we were used to looking at as a school when we were heading into this. We give the MAP assessment. It's through NWA, and it's something we take 3 times a year. It's a nationally normed assessment, meaning that it's different than the I-STEP. It's not based on standards criteria where the student gets a question right or not. They get questions right or not, but it helps us understand their growth against like peers across the nation. And so that data helps us understand student growth and how well they're learning each and every year and how much growth they make in a year. Compared to a standardized assessment like the iLearn, that data isn't apples to oranges. What NWA has done over time is say, okay, if a student's about here, then they should pass I-STEP. Well, this being the first year of iLearn, we were still, our confidence level was up in the air. We didn't quite know what this data was going to mean for the iLearn assessment, but we used it to help us understand a little bit more about where our kids are at and whether they will pass or not. So we used what they call their projected pass percentages. Okay. If you look up here at the top, we had in ELA, 50% of our students were projected to pass, and 52% were projected to pass in math. And our overall score for ELA at Rockport was 61%, so we came in higher. For South Spencer, 53. And what I want to show on each of these slides is the state average. You're going to notice for the most part, other than in one area, we were above state average, and in some places significantly above, which that was our target for this year. Like I said, I just want to be average. But when you don't know what you're getting into, it's a good place to start. We can work from there. This then is our math, and you can see Rockport was at 55%, South Spencer 57%, and Indiana was at 47%. The nice colorful helps us understand our numbers and about the range of our students. These would be, they broke the new test down into 4 categories: well below proficient, approaching proficient, proficient, and above proficient. Okay. Next slide. Oh, sorry. I got it. My button. All right. So 5th grade was close on the MAPS projections. Here's where we got a little bit worried when we saw our iLearn scores come out, because we had thought that 74% of our students were going to pass in 4th grade. That was the data we were rolling with, what we believed the proficiency was of our students heading into the assessment. And you can see 39% of our students passed. The test is significantly different than anything our students have approached before. The types of questions they're being asked to do are different than the curriculum we were working with was preparing them to answer. And so we have some instructional shifts and some work to do to get our students proficient, but also as teachers, we've got to learn the test. This is what we're being held accountable to. We've got to understand more about the types of questions our students have to answer and how we can instruct them to get there. So that's based on old. The new turned out a whole lot different for us in 4th grade. And in math, we were at 59% in the 4th grade, and we were projected to be 67%. Then in 3rd grade, again, so we had 73% of our students projected, we were at 50. Just pointing out we're still above state average, and we had 63% of our students pass, where the state average in Indiana was 58. Any questions about that? That's Rockport data.
So here's our loose data. For our 3rd grade, we were at a 47.6% proficient for language arts and math. At 4th grade, we were 62.5%, and at 5th grade, we were 36.2%. So again, our MAP projections for 3rd grade, English language arts was a 66% to pass. State average was a 46. Corporation, we were at 56% proficient. For our math, we were looking at a projection of 64%. Our 3rd grade exceeded that with a 73% in math, with the state average being at a 58. Our 4th grade language arts was projected at an 85.8. We were at a 66, but still well above the state average. Their math scores, 68.6 was projected. They had a 71 and well above the state average. And our 5th grade for language arts was at 59.2%. We were at a 44%. And then our math at 75%, we came in at a 58, but we're still above the state average.
So we looked, oh, go ahead.
So we were just looking at some of the changes that we made for this year in order to prepare our students, and that was to update our curriculum. We were at a language arts curriculum and a math curriculum that was old. It was several years old. And so we adopted Wit and Wisdom. For our K2 end, we did Wilson Foundations Phonics, and then Go Math for our math.
We also looked at maximizing schedule time. How do we ensure that we're able to maximize instructional time for our students? But also, we just adopted, so one new curriculum for a school in a year is tough. 2 new curriculum, it's a lot of work. For our lower grades, tackling 3, by golly, they're lifting heavy. And we kind of headed into this year understanding that. And we looked at it, and we believe we can get there. We know that it may take a little longer to get with math. If we focus on language arts, that is one of the areas we're most efficient. And so we've got some work to do there to get both of these curriculum well launched and being utilized at full capacity. But they are 2 very highly rated curriculum that have showed well in other states that are using Common Core, which, well, Indiana will tell you they're not. After you change a couple of adjectives and articles, you get about the same thing, and so that's what we're running up against. The schedules are set up so that we call it slow down to speed up. So we've got built in a few more minutes of planning time every other week on Fridays for our teachers so that they can get together and do some work around these new curricula and push forward hopefully a little faster after they come out of that extra time. So you see our students in some enrichment activities at both schools and doing some different things on Friday afternoon, where then our teachers can group up and work hard together to understand more about our curriculum and also plan forward. And it's taken a lot of work. I talk to the team a lot, and they've let me know, hey, I'm having to plan harder than I've planned in years. And no doubt when we headed into this year, we understood it was going to be tough, and maybe in some areas it's tougher than we had anticipated. Some areas maybe it's a little easier than we'd anticipated. I don't think anybody would tell you that right now. But for those teachers who are here and for those teachers who are listening, we recognize and we understand, and we're willing to work with you. And by golly, I appreciate every ounce of effort that's going into this, because I see incredible things happening in the classroom. Sherry said the same thing. As we're walking around and peeking in, we're seeing some really awesome discussions between students about literature, and that's going to help scaffold those students into passing the types of questions that they're seeing on iLearn. And then finally, growth in our social emotional learning programs. If school feels safe and school feels comfortable, and if we're going through tough stuff and having to work on really hard questions that we've never been challenged by before, you got to have a place where you feel comfortable getting that done. And so we're trying to continue to develop and build that social emotional learning aspect so that our students have a comfortable, quiet, soft place to land when they fail. Because by golly, they're supposed to, right? Sometimes they're going to miss questions. Sometimes they're not going to get them right. And they also then have to understand you brush yourself off, you stand up, and keep going. And that's the type of learning environment we want. So that's elementary.
Space bar on the pad.
The right arrow.
Oh, sorry, Scott. Debated.
There we go. I'm all right. I'm good. All right. Wow. That did not. Yeah, that slide's gonna be hard for me to read. That's not how I designed it. Let me see here. Okay. Anyways, this was supposed to be an overall, and the numbers are all over the place. What happened to that? Yeah, let's try those. Get out there. Just so you know it's on.
This is 2000.